Hi there, this is Paul Ezzy from Boris Effects with another tutorial on Boris Continuum Complete 8. This time I'll show you a new logging feature in the BCC 8 Videoscope filter. Hey, here I am in After Effects, and I'm going to make sure that my footage here is broadcast safe by using BCC Videoscope. So here is BCC Videoscope in the Colors and Tone category. It's new to BCC 8, so I'm going to walk you through it a little bit. First thing you'll notice is all these different graphs or scopes appearing on your screen, and each one can tell you something different about the chroma or RGB values in your footage. So there's a lot of information available to you here. I'm only going to focus on how to read it to find illegal colors or colors that aren't broadcast safe. So first I'm going to change how they're arranged. I'm going to load a preset which has them more or less how I want them. If I don't like this, I can change them by hand, which I'm doing right now, and you can too. So arrange them any way you like, then save that as a preset when you're done. We're going to be focusing on the waveform monitor today, and let's make sure our color space is set correctly before we do anything else. This is an HD clip, so I'm going to change it to HD, and now let's get into it. So the first thing I'll talk about is how the waveform monitor works. It's a pretty straightforward graph of all the pixels in your footage, and if something is at 0, that means it's black or it has a pixel color value of black, and if it's at 100, that means it's pure white. In between, you can see the different luminance and RGB values like as they are. So you can see the greens here, the reds. Going forward, notice the live update. Looks pretty weird, but also kind of cool. So you can see their blue jeans here, then the sky and the roof and everything else. However, if you find all these colors distracting, you can actually turn them off. Check it out. So maybe now I'm just kind of looking at the luminance value of each pixel, ignoring the RGB, which I still have all these for. Okay, so I'm going to turn that back on for now. And let's say we want to check it for illegal colors. Well, it's pretty easy to do that with this filter. I'm going to twirl down the Broadcast Safe tab, and I'm going to say Render Only. That's good. That's actually the default. And I can already tell you there's nothing illegal going on now. If there was, there would be a little red dot in the corner here. For example, if I bring down the Luma upper threshold to 50, now I've got a red dot. So that means that some pixels in my footage are beyond that Luma threshold. Now I can find which ones in two different ways. I can either say highlight on source, so as a magenta color, everything that's beyond that threshold is now magenta, or I can say zebra. I'm a fan of zebra myself, and you can see as I adjust the threshold, you see an update in your footage. Another thing that's cool is that if you select highlight on scope, you actually see the values in your scope too, this time magenta again. So I'll put that back so they match. And it's not just this scope, it's all scopes at once. So as I change the threshold here, you can see how it updates on the scopes too. So visually speaking, it's actually really easy to see where your illegal colors are. Now, if you don't want to do this visually, there's another way, and it's called logging. So if you say render and log, so every time I update a frame in AE, it will check it for illegal colors and create a log file for that. So you can see these frames here, frames, times, and timestamps. Basically, frame 0 has an illegal color. Frame 0 is at time 0 in my timeline, and this data was entered at about 3:11 in the afternoon on February 15th. So you get a lot of different information about where the pixels occur and when they were found. If I close this and just kind of play through using a spacebar playback, it will update continuously. So if I check the log now by clicking Open Log File, look at that. So every frame got logged again. So even frames that were already logged as illegal, because it updates with a timestamp, you get to see them again, which is good because maybe you change how your footage looks, so the same frame might look different at different points in your day, right? Anyway, all these frames are illegal, and we kind of knew that was going to be the case because, you know, this is a low threshold. Here's a more typical use of this filter. So here I've got new footage, Boston from Footage Firm, and check this out. I'm just going to say log only. So now, if I play through, first of all, it plays a lot faster because it's not drawing anything on the screen. And second, if I check the log now, there we go. So this is where the frames start to get bad. And if it happens that your Videoscope log is getting really cluttered and you want to, you know, start over, you know, just delete what's in there and then close it and create a log again. It's just a regular text file, so, you know, you can trade it, save copies of it, email it, do whatever. And if I open it now, whoop, there we go, back to normal. Okay, so again, only frame 130 and beyond have the illegal values in this clip. So if I had to do any kind of correction or editing, you know, it might even have been faster just to cut out the clip at that point. And going back to render only, you can see the red dot there and not there. So logging's great, it can save you a lot of time, and it works. Okay, so let's go back to the original project that we had. Let's do some real work on this one. All right, so we've got a threshold that doesn't really mean anything. It was arbitrary, so let's put that back up to 100, and let's bring the chroma down to 60. Okay, so now we can see that just the for sale sign is illegal or not broadcast safe. It's kind of funny because it just stands out so well from the scope. You know, here are the red pixels there, and it's just like, oh yeah, they became magenta really well. So we're going to fix just the for sale sign, and we're going to do that using another BCC filter called correct selected color. First of all, to make this change, I'm going to put it above the Videoscope filter. That way the Videoscope will read the changes in the correct selected color. So you can see how my scopes are changing as I make changes there. And that's cool. Okay, so we just want to get rid of that red color. I'm just going to hide the Videoscope altogether while I select it. Looks about right. Now I'll turn it back on. And I'm going to bring down the brightness to do this. Notice how the pixels here are moving as a group. That's so cool. Okay, so coming back down, and it's gone. Great. So it looks all red there, still red, but it's just a less intense red. You can also try changing things using saturation if you want to correct it a different way. You know, whichever one works for you. There's many ways you can try to fix this thing. And just going to check a few other frames. So the masking matting was pretty good. It doesn't hold up right at the end there. I'll just increase the blending a little bit, and maybe the range a tiny bit too. Okay, well at this point I'm basically masking, but the Videoscope has done its job, and now we can send this footage off to the broadcast station. Okay, so if you liked what you saw here and want to try it out yourself, you can actually download a free trial version of these filters at our website, and that's at borisfx.com.